certain things gonna have to change. Certain things gonna have to be different. Because now you know new stuff.
Almost 30 years after Pac's death, new investigations are pulling back the curtain and dropping bombshells that flip everything we thought we knew. The so-called official version of Pac's murder? Man, that was barely half the truth. And now, some of the biggest power players in hip-hop are tangled up in this mess. So let's get into it. How the West Coast lost its realest soldier. Tupac Shakur, born Les Sane Parish Crooks on June 16, 1971, wasn't just another name in rap. This man embodied West Coast authenticity. By the mid-90s, Pac had already delivered classics like Me Against the World in 95 and the iconic double disc All Eyes on Me in 96. And he wasn't just killing it in the booth. Pac was starring in films like Juice and Poetic Justice, becoming the blueprint of what a real one from the streets could rise into. But this is where everything starts shifting, fam. This is where the story drifts into that dark, twisted lane that would shake hip-hop forever. See, Pac wasn't just fighting industry politics. He was knee-deep in what we now call the East Coast versus West Coast war. And by this point, this wasn't friendly rivalry anymore. Nah, this was deadly energy. The roots of the beef trace back to the late 80s, when West Coast pioneers like NWA challenged New York's grip on the rap game. But things really exploded in '91 with diss tracks like Tim Dog's Compton, Shots at Dr. Dre, and Suge Knight forming Death Row Records, a label with real blood-affiliated muscle ready to flip the industry on its head. Then came Bad Boy Records. In '93, Sean Puff Daddy Combs launched the NYC label that pushed the notorious B.I.G. to the forefront with his gritty classic Ready to Die. What started as competition became personal, and the stage was set for bloodshed, and then the moment that changed everything. The real spark ignited on November 30th, 1994, inside Quad Recording Studios in Times Square. Picture it. Pac walks into the building with no clue he's stepping right into a full-blown setup. They hit him 5 times, stripped him of 40 bands and jewelry, and as he stumbled in the lobby, bleeding, dazed, fighting to stay alive, he spotted 2 faces he would never forget. Biggie Smalls and Puff Daddy. Whether they really lined up to play or were just in the wrong place at the wildest time, Pac believed his own circle had betrayed him. In that explosive 1995 Vibe interview, he aired it all out. Puff, Biggie, Uptown Records, Andre Harrell. No filters, no hesitation. He called them snakes. A brotherhood shattered. War officially stamped and sealed. After serving his bid, Suge Knight came through with that $1.4 million bail in October '95, and Pac walked straight into death row. And from there, the beef didn't just escalate, it detonated. At the Source Awards that same year, Suge took direct shots at Puff for always crowding the camera. Snoop dissed the whole New York section like he owned the room. And then came a nuke. Hit him up. June '96. Pac violated every code, bragged about smashing Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, and declared total warfare on Bad Boy. The beef had evolved from bars to bullets. But here's the twist that turned this from rap drama to real-life tragedy. 2 months before Vegas, July '96 in Lakewood, a mob pyro homie named Trayvon Trey Lane got pressed inside Foot Locker by Southside Crips, led by a young hitter named Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. They snatched a death row chain, a tiny piece of metal, but symbolically priceless. Respect, power, blood versus Crip, death row versus the streets. That chain became a fuse. In Orlando, he wasn't just anybody. He was the nephew of Keith D, a name that would later become the centerpiece of the entire murder file. So when September 7th, 1996 rolled around, every piece of this puzzle, East versus West, gang retaliation, pride, ego, revenge, snapped together in Las Vegas like destiny waiting to explode. Pac at the city for Tyson versus Selden, chilling in a death row suite, riding shotgun with Suge. All Eyes on Me was dominating the world. He was unstoppable, or so it seemed, because he didn't know his clock had less than a week left. The night jumped off of the MGM Grand. Tyson dropped Selden in round 1 like it was nothing. But the real knockout was waiting outside the ring. Inside the lobby, Trey Lane spotted him, Orlando Anderson. The same dude who yanked that death row chain. Lane pointed. Pac reacted instantly. You from South? He pressed. Crip code. 1 second later, Pac swung. 30 seconds of fists, stomps, chaos. Pac, Suge, the whole squad rushing in. Security broke it. Cameras caught every angle. That moment sealed everything. Later, Pac told Kidada Jones what went down back at the Luxor. No idea, he had just signed his death papers. Around 10:30 p.m., Pac changed his fit, slid into Suge's black 96 BMW 750IL, headed to Club 662, a blood-connected spot named after mob ties. Pac's bodyguard, Frank Alexander, not even in the same car. He followed behind in Kidada's vehicle. That one detail may have changed history forever. Between 11 o'clock and 11:05 p.m., LVMPD pulled the BMW over. Loud music, no front plate. The plate was in the trunk. No citation. They let them roll. 5 minutes later, at Flamingo and Koval near the Maxim, they hit a red light. Pac leaned out the window, flirting with girls in a Cadillac, laughing, completely exposed. Unaware eyes were on him. And at 11:15 p.m., a white Cadillac drifted up beside them. Later investigations would confirm. The ride was stolen. It wasn't there by accident. From that back passenger window, the heat flew. 13 to 14 shots from a .40 Glock ripping through the Vegas night. 4 of them tore into Pac. Chest, thigh, pelvis, hand. Suge Knight caught fragments across his head. Terrence Bubble Up Brown, believed to be behind the wheel of that white Cadillac, peeled off into the darkness. Nobody in Pac's BMW fired back. Pac wasn't even carrying. Suge stomped the gas toward Harmon Avenue. Cops stopped them again, then rushed Pac to UMC. There was one man who saw everything. Yaki Gaddafi from the Outlaws. He supposedly peeped the shooter's face. But before he could ever testify, he was gone, killed November 10th, 1996. Every voice that held answers was disappearing one after another. Pac hit the emergency room, fighting for his life. Doctors pulled a bullet from his right lung. 6 days he laid in a coma, Afeni Shakur refusing to leave his side. September 13th, 1996, 4:03 p.m., Tupac Amaru Shakur took his final breath. Respiratory failure. Cardiac arrest. Just 25. Cause of death. Multiple gunshot wounds. When his body couldn't hold anymore, Afeni made the call no mother should ever face. She let him go that a private funeral followed. Cremation. And in true outlaw fashion, his homies reportedly rolled Pac's ashes in a blunt as tribute. Hip-hop was shattered, but the madness that followed, that was only chapter 2 for almost 27 years. Pac's murder stood untouched, one of America's coldest cases. Vegas PD fumbled it bad. Vital leads ignored. MGM footage wasted. Nobody chased the Cadillac. No suspects. No convictions. No justice. Just silence. And silence bred conspiracy like smoke in a closed room. 5 major theories have kept the world debating ever since. First, gang retaliation. Most believe it was Crips seeking payback over that MGM stomp-out on Orlando Anderson, with Keefe D pulling strings. 2002 LA Times reports tied Bad Boy money to Crip involvement, hinting Lil C's may have helped the bag move. Second, Biggie and Puff put the hit in motion. Pac swore they set up the 94 quad ambush. This angle claims Puff put $1 million bounty on Pac and Suge after hit up in Barris, New York. Detective Greg Kading later said evidence pointed to Puff paying the Crips via Terrence Brown. Faith Evans' rumors only fueled it. Puff still denies it. No charges ever stuck. Third, Suge Knight orchestrated it. Darkest theory says Suge feared Pac leaving death row after money disputes and had him removed. Others believe Suge was the real target. His strange silence, plus 2017 comments that bullets were meant for him, kept whispers alive. Kading even linked Suge to Biggie's death through Poochie Faust and a $25,000 payout. Fourth, Pac faked his death, the Machiavelli believers. Fans claim Pac staged it all to disappear. Cuba's sightings 7-day theory, sketchy cremation timing. They treat it like prophecy. Autopsy and family statements shut most of it down. But people refused to let their king go. Fifth, government/FBI involvement. Afeni was Black Panther, meaning Pac was on COINTELPRO radar. 2011 FBI docs said JDL extorted Pac for protection money. Corrupt LAPD cops moonlighting with death row added fuel. Proof is light, but history makes it believable for many. Then comes the wild twist no one saw coming. Dwayne Keith D. Davis, born June 14, 1963, Compton, a Southside Crip OG from the crack era. Mid-level shot caller, deep in blood crip beefs. Orlando, Baby Lane. Anderson, the same dude Pac put hands on an MGM, was his nephew. Keith bragged later, "They jumped my nephew. That was the green light. Pac chose the wrong war." His downfall? He couldn't keep quiet that in the 2000s, facing federal drug heat, Keith flipped, gave intel to LAPD and FBI, traded cooperation for leniency. Immunity covered that window, but then ego took the wheel. Books, interviews, podcasts, anyone with a camera. He Talk Point 2018 Death Row Chronicles. His book Compton Street Legend. Endless interviews. Keith described riding in that white Cadillac, claimed he handed over the Glock used by Big Dre Smith, called it straight retaliation. He denied firing, but admitted the decision came from him. And in one interview, the way he described the moment sent chills through the culture.
No, we coming up, what's the name? What's that, Flamingo? Yeah, I think that's Flamingo. We was coming up Flamingo and got to the light. He was gonna go drink and smoke some weed, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
When they pressed him about seeing Pac reach for a strap, he dodged, doubled back, and danced around the question.
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually see a gun?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
And on the shooting itself,
I seen a bullet going straight ahead. I thought he was dead.
So Orlando shot him across Dre?
He leaned over on the window, he rolled down the window, popped. They would drove on my side, I would popped. You know what I'm saying? But they was on the other side.
And understand, this wasn't some pressure confession under a hot bulb in an interrogation box. This wasn't a private immunity meeting whispered behind federal doors. This was a street vet voluntarily flexing on camera, bragging about his part in one of hip-hop's darkest moments, chasing attention and a payday from anyone willing to mic him up. Then, the domino finally fell. On July 18th, 2023, Vegas Metro pulled up to Keith D's Henderson home with a warrant. They snatched electronics, .40 cal ammo, old pics of Orlando Anderson and Pac, plus a copy of his own book sitting on the shelf. And 2 months later, September 29th, 2023, nearly 27 years after Pac was hit, Dwayne Keith D. Davis was officially charged with first-degree murder with gang enhancements. Prosecutors claim he greenlit the hit just hours after the MGM beatdown, riding shotgun in that white caddy, while DeAndre Big Dre Smith sprayed down Pac and Suge BMW. Davis pled not guilty, now saying he fabricated everything for clout and sales. But the state ain't buying a word of it. One official put it plain, he talked in every public space possible and basically threw away whatever immunity he once had. Then came the nuclear drop. Grand jury transcripts unsealed September 7th, 2025, exactly 29 years after the shooting. Inside were allegations and loose ends that had the culture buzzing all over again. Crip, blood ties weaving through Bad Boy, and Death Row the Chain Snatch spark that lit the Fuse Puff's alleged $1 million bounty, which he still denies Pac leaning out the window, making himself an easy target DeAndre Smith fingered, as the actual triggerman. Both Smith and Orlando Anderson have been dead for decades. Smith since '04, Anderson since '98, leaving Keith D as the last living piece of the puzzle. Meanwhile, Suge Knight sits on a 28-year bid for a 2015 manslaughter, and he's been throwing gasoline into the story himself. In a July 2025 People magazine interview, Knight claimed Afeni Shakur helped stage a suicide by cop, accusations Pac's family called flat-out delusional. But when people ask why Suge doesn't just tell the full truth now, insiders give one answer that chills you straight through the bone.
A little closer than that, man. He was a little closer.
Well, he was in the car with
situation.
Tupac.
With not just by being in the car with the murders, but he was more involved than people think. It was the conversations and all that led up to that day, or led up to the demise of these two people. My hands ain't clean, should I say. So it was more to it than that. See, one thing people don't understand, Suge know a whole lot, knows everything.
Right.
But Suge can't talk, because if Suge talk, Suge implicate himself in 99.9% of the bullshit that was going on. So Suge could never talk.
The trial that refuses to move and the theories that refuse to die. Now, nearly 30 years since Pac was taken, this case has twisted into something even wilder, or maybe just painfully stalled, leaving the Shakur family and fans worldwide wondering, will justice ever land, or is this just another ghost chasing another clock? Davis was originally granted a $750,000 bail with house arrest in June 2024, but that was snatched right back on June 27th over what prosecutors called dirty funds, rumored to come from movie deal. Keefe blamed it on Vlad lies and snake moves from producers. Either way, bail gone, case frozen, and he's still in Clark County Detention Center to this day. And the trial, delayed once, then twice, then a third time. Pushed for November 2024, February 9th, 2026 for evidence review. Then again to August 10th, 2026, after the defense begged for more discovery time, and DA Steve Wolfson didn't even fight it. Keefe, now 62, sits waiting for judgment with new lawyers, Robert Draxovich and Michael Pangelo, swearing he's innocent. His team filed a suppression motion on November 4th, 2025, trying to wipe the proffer tapes from the record, arguing that his 2008 LAPD, 2009 FBI, and 2010 Compton PD deals gave him use immunity for being buried by his own words. Judge Carly Kearney shut that down in July 2025. So Davis fired back with a Nevada Supreme Court appeal on July 29th, 2025, still pending as of November 2025. And that was just the legal chaos. There was side drama too. Keefe caught a separate jail battery case in April 2025, got 16 to 40 months with time served credit. His son tried to overturn it, citing juror misconduct. Denied November 2025 during a July 23, 2024 hearing, Keefe snapped in court. "They're trashing my family," furious over how prosecutors framed the bail money. But as Davis sits in limbo, the whispers haven't slowed. They multiplied. Some say the real trigger wasn't Compton Street politics or bad boy bankroll, but someone much closer to the home. Reggie Wright Jr., former death row security boss. Even Keefe himself threw gas on that fire, hinting if he goes down for Pac, then Reggie should go down for Biggie. Wright has publicly responded, loudly and directly.
It's unfortunate that that's the new theme, man. It really is. I thought we had got away from that, especially once TPD had got arrested, even though he had been making his promo tour, talking about it on your channel and in his book and BET Chronicles and other people's platforms. And then he gets there, and now he goes to jail, and he, got to pass the buck. You remember that show, The Practice? They used to call The Practice, and they used to have the Plan B, and they say, hey, when your suspect is done, we got to throw it on the best witness and accuse him.
Meanwhile, other voices claim both murders, Pac and Biggie, were inside jobs orchestrated not by East Coast rivals, but by people tied to death row itself. A double cross from within the house.
If you ask me, that was all in-house.
So you believe Tupac and Biggie murder was in-house?
I believe Biggie and Tupac was in-house. All had something to do with death row people.
And this theory leans on one critical detail. One night, one hotel, one security layout that never should have happened.
There's no way, bro. There's no way that I'ma have a convoy of cars and somebody's gonna ride up to my principal and kill them. There's no way, unless it's in-house. Somebody we know, somebody we cool with, some familiar face that we let go past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 different cars.
Let's break down the other players tangled up in this mess besides Davis. Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, Davis's nephew, a Southside Crip enforcer. The same kid Pac stomped in the MGM lobby. Witnesses put him in the back of the white caddy that night. A Crip affiliate testified in the 2025 transcripts that Anderson got the Glock from Davis, but handed it off to DeAndre Big Dre Smith because his angle was blocked. Anderson denied everything, even sued Pac's estate for assault in '97, while Afeni countersued. He never got to clear his name. Killed on May 29, 1998, in a Compton gang shootout at 21, taking his secrets to the grave. Terrence "Bubble Up" Brown allegedly drove that white caddy. Linked to both Southside Crips and Bad Boy, he served as security for Junior Mafia. Detective Kading's 2009 proffer with Davis named Brown as a middleman moving Combs' cash. Word is he was bragging in Compton about handling East Coast business. Brown died in a 2015 car crash. DeAndre Big Dre Smith, identified in the 2025 grand jury transcripts as the shooter. A 6 feet 6 inches, 400 pounds Crip heavyweight who emptied the Glock Davis supplied into Pac's BMW. Testimony says Anderson's position blocked him, so he got the handoff. Smith matched witness sketches, but was killed in a 2004 drive-by, possibly mob-related revenge. Sean Diddy Combs got named 47 times in the September 2025 transcripts. Davis's proffers accused him of putting up the $1 million bag. A 2024 Cassie Ventura lawsuit claimed Combs bragged about it. A 2003 Kirk Burroughs lawsuit said similar, but both got tossed. Combs denies everything, calling it fiction. LVMPD confirms he's not a suspect, though the Shakur family hired PI Alex Alonzo in October 2024 to investigate. And then there's the theory that refuses to die. Pac is alive. Believers claim he faked his death as Machiavelli. They point to cryptic clues, the Dawn Illuminati, the 7-day theory, numerology around his birthday, his age, even the time he died. The album cover shows him crucified, hinting at resurrection. Over 100 alleged sightings since '96. Cuba, New Mexico, Europe, Malaysia, viral videos, burner tweets, all debunked, yet the narrative survives. Suge Knight himself fueled it with cryptic prison calls in 2018. Pac knew too much, people say, so maybe he went underground. Why do these theories persist nearly 30 years later? Because humans struggle with senseless violence. They need to believe a voice as powerful as Pac's could survive anything. In an age of deep fakes, cold case podcasts, and true crime obsession, the Alive story comforts fans. Yet Afeni Shakur's 2016 deathbed words, "My son is gone," and his state filings should have closed the book. As biographer Stacey Robinson noted in The New Yorker, grief's poetry keeps Pac immortal, not on some island, but in his bars. Over 75 million records sold, his music echoes, whether he faked it or not. As Davis's trial approaches August 2026, Pac's family demands answers. Sister Siki Shakur said it best, 27 years waiting for justice. The case now hinges on Davis as the alleged shot caller, tied to East Coast versus West Coast beef, with his own words from proffers, books, podcasts, and documentaries on the table. Defense says he fabricated it all for clout and cash. But the truth? It probably died with Orlando Anderson in '98, Big Dre Smith in '04, and Bubble Up Brown in 2015. The only one left standing? The OG who couldn't stop talking. Will his words convict him? Or will he walk free, spinning stories for royalties? That's still uncertain. What's certain? Tupac Shakur was shot September 7th, 1996, died 6 days later at 25, leaving behind a legendary catalog, a grieving mother, and mysteries that may never be fully solved. And almost 30 years later, fans, courts, podcasts, and comment threads are still debating that Vegas night. Pac lived loud. He died young. And maybe that's why, in a way, Tupac really is immortal. Thank you for watching. If you want another deep dive like this, click one of the boxes on your screen now.